This is the very first in a series of training videos for SPeED by $1 Digital Design Incorporated. This is the intro to the very first things you'll see when you log in to the first time to your account and what to do. When you first get your account, your website set up, you're going to receive a series of 2 emails. One is going to have a username and one is going to have a password. This username and password are, of course, case sensitive, and you'll notice in the same email there's actually an address that will show you where to log in. However, at the bottom of just about every site that we do on SPeED has a link at the very, very bottom down here that says administer this page, and this is going to take you to the exact same place. You can use that link, go to your website and use that link literally on every page. Today we're going to look at an account for Tigger Travels, which is one of my websites. And you can see even at the bottom of mine, there's administer this page, and it goes to the exact same login page. On this login page, of course, the spaces for the username and password. If you forget your username and password down here at the bottom, you can fill in your first name, your last name, and your website address, and it will send your email to your email address your username and password. Now, if your email address has not been updated, you may need us to help you with that, but we'll cover that in another session. So when we sign in here, I'm just going to go to a remembered username and password here for me. The very first time you log in, you're going to be forced into the profile page, and you'll have to fill in just some basic contact information so that we know we've got appropriate information to get in touch with you if you ever need to. In all reality, this is seldom ever used, but when we need it, we really need it. So we ask that you complete this accurately. Down here, now you'll notice the colors in here in your account will match the colors of your website. So in my case, it's this red, orange, and yellow. Your color palette on your website will be displayed here when you get into your account. For me, it's the yellow lines are required, and it has this big red letters as to make changes on the site. You must first complete the required information. And you'll need to just come in here and give us your address. Fill in my information and your phone number. Country is not required. You only need one contact phone. You're welcome to put in both if you would like to. Down at the very bottom is the place to change your password, and we're going to do that in just a moment. You need to enter the current password, which is going to be something funky created by the system, and then you enter your new password twice. We'll do that in just a minute because I want to show something on that. But for right now, you'll see all the red text up here when I save changes to my profiles, and when everything has been completed in here, then that red text is going to disappear. You'll notice now I don't get that requirement. You'll also notice that you can go to other tabs inside SPeED. And we'll get to that in just a moment. I do want to cover changing a password. Now, if we want to change a password, we want to make sure first that the current password is in there. Then you want to type in your new password. And I'm going to enter it wrong first time. And you see it's a 1 character shorter, so the new passwords do not match. So that I can show you what happens when I say save changes to my profile, there is nothing happening. There is no message here, because in a second here, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to say, whoops, that was wrong. And now that I put in the correct thing twice, my browser, of course, is going to remember it for me. Hopefully yours will too. You will see right here, it tells you your password has been changed. And that means that you're now set up with your new password. And most people have a favorite password they like to use or a favorite set of passwords. just so you can remember them easier, and that's just what you should do. Don't feel like you have to remember the funky password that WebSpeed created for you. Up here at the top, you'll notice that everyone has a Start tab and a Your Profile tab. Depending on your permissions, though, there's different levels of users, and we're going to get to that in another video. But depending on your permissions in here, you will have fewer or more tabs than another person might have. Under the Start tab, though, the very first tab that says Welcome, you'll notice there is a manual here. And this is a PDF document right now that's dated November 7th of 2014. This video is recorded on May 14th of 2015. I do know there's supposed to be another one coming out here pretty soon, so you'll see that date change from time to time. And that manual has a lot of information about as much as I can write in WebSpeed and more sometimes. And again, there's stuff in the manual that you may not have access to simply because your account does not have all the permissions. One important tab here, if you have it, is this website information. And this has some very basic information that is shared throughout the site. The title of your website, probably a company name. You may have some kind of a mission statement, some kind of a site description, your mailing address. Some people will actually put a located in if the address is at your private house and you don't want strangers just wandering up to your house. We have had issues with that in the recent past. Everything here is pretty standard information, and this information is shared throughout the site. The contact form on your site will actually be sent to this email address right here in this space. And you can put your own name there so that it's customized for you. There's a place down here. This image will appear at the top of every page on your site. So normally this is reserved for a logo, a company logo of some kind. On occasion, you might have some extra information down here, but we're not going to talk about that at the moment. And there is a website upgrades, gives you an idea of some of the other things, other looks that you can create for your website, or you can request for your website. There are dozens and dozens of different looks in here, different features. There is a lot to WebSpeed. It is something that I have been writing personally for almost 17 years, and we have grown quite a useful tool. Every single page on your website is going to have a tab up here. In this case, you got the home page, contact us, and so forth. We're going to cover these more in another video, but because this one is primarily just to get you in and started up with WebSpeed. Every page in WebSpeed does have a link to your site. If you click on that link, you'll notice up here that the link takes you to either a different window or a different tab. That depends on how your computer is set up. So now you can see I have WebSpeed in one tab and my website on the other tab. And this is very useful, and we'll talk about that more in the future too. The final thing for this video I want to point out is there is a big logout button right here. Always log out when you're done. This is a security issue. We don't want someone hacking in. I have not had but one problem in all the years we've done this, but I don't like creating targets on our server, and it's just a safety thing to always log out when you're done. If you don't log out, your account will be logged out automatically in about 45 minutes. And that's all for this introductory session for WebSpeed and what you will see the first time you log in.